each year que passe, que Dieu te bénisse et te garde, que sa face luise sur toi et t'accorde sa grâce, qui tourne sa face vers toi et te donne sa paix. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn His face towards you.
Our evening's program, which we have been enjoying week after week. What a wonderful experience it has been. We are blessed. If we weren't in church, we would say we're fortuitous. And some people say we're lucky. We don't use the word lucky. We're blessed, and God has favored us to have this platform and to use it to His honor and glory. And this evening, we're going to have another tremendous program for all of you. I presume that next week we're going to have another program, right, Ajay? I haven't been told anything. I just suspect that in the interest of having a good relationship with the women, with the ladies of the church, we are having a nice program next week. We want to have a great, healthy relationship with them. So I would presume, nobody told me anything, but I'm presuming, pastors, that there's going to be a lovely program next week for Perspectives that I won't have to be in charge of. So,
is it a suggestion or a warning?
No, I'm just saying, nobody has said anything to me, so okay. I suspect that maybe it was inadvertent. They forgot to mention it to me, because I could have been planning a program.
That's okay. I haven't heard anything
today. I have not planned anything for next Sabbath evening. And I just feel that there will be a program here next Sabbath evening. Somebody should help me advertise it, but no, I'm not getting any help. So I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. Pastor Bannister, I really would ask you to speak with the powers that be, because we want to maintain a healthy relationship with the ladies. So please speak with them.
I understand you, Pastor. I haven't heard a thing.
Because nobody said don't plan anything, and I didn't plan anything. So
I am thinking their half have not been seized.
Oh, have mercy. Okay, we're having fun. For those of you who are out there listening in Australia and Russia, and even Jamaica and Trinidad, that was just an inside thing. We generally celebrate the fathers on Sabbath. So in Sabbath evening, sometimes we do have a program. We had for the ladies a few weeks ago, and we're hoping to embrace reciprocity. And in that vein, I am sending out a word that is for the wise, and that should be sufficient. So there should be a program next Sabbath evening. Or, we do have the numbers for 911.
Just rest assured.
We do know the number for 911.
Have no fear. Have no fear. My wife said to me, have no fear. Have no fear.
Okay.
She knows something I don't know, so I guess.
Okay. All right. So Pastor Mac, you're going to help me introduce this program, because you are a what you call a satisfied client.
Yes.
And so you'll help me introduce. When I come to introduce you, you can do that for me. And I'll just say something.
You go ahead, Pastor.
Yeah. But let's have prayer.
I'm so
let's
shy.
Have prayer.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
Let's have prayer, and then you can I'll have you come in. We'll listen to a little bit of music, and then we're going to introduce them. And I want you to say something, because you are an amazing story. So we're very happy for you. All right, let us bow our heads for prayer. Pastor, I don't think it's too difficult for you to have preached and then pray for us. Can you pray for us, Pastor Bannister?
That's okay. Father in heaven, we are thankful to you. We thank you, God, for this day. We thank you for the opportunities and the different programs you have been blessing us with. We pray, God, for the presenter as he presents. Dear God, we ask, Father, that you continue to bless him, guide him with your wisdom. And we pray, dear God, that we would leave here, Father, knowing a lot better about ourselves and the things that we put into our bodies and the uses of your leaves and your fruits, oh God, that you have provided for the healing of your nation. So, Father, we pray that you be with us again in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
We want to welcome everyone to our program this afternoon, going evening. What a privilege we have to have this platform that has taken us through COVID. And I've always said, if we could personify and make Zoom a person, we would say we would never, ever be ungrateful to Zoom because this platform kept us going through the COVID-19 at its height. And now it's sort of tapering off a little bit. We're still not out of the woods, but we still want to be grateful for what it has done. So we'll always have Zoom along with in-person worship. We're working on getting our church home together. And in a few days or so, we should have an idea as to the timetable for our return to in-person worship with also our Zoom. We'll never leave Zoom alone. We'll resume with Zoom. All right, so there should be no gloom and the church should boom. How about that? All right, so we want to welcome everyone. Welcome to our evening's program. I hope you had a great Bible class and a great lunch and, maybe rest. Some people took a little rest and we're ready to roll. We're ready to go forward with our program and we're going to listen to some music. And after that, we're going to introduce our special, wonderful guests. We're excited about them and we look forward to learning how to juice for healthy living. Let's listen to this clip.
Is my living in vain? Is my giving in vain? Is my praying in vain? Is my fasting in vain?
Amen.
All right. That was different, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. Anybody else liked it? Yes, I loved it. It was nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful, very
Beautiful
organic sound.
voices, yeah. Beautiful voices.
Yeah, nice, very nice.
Organic
All right, so
food.
we're back. We're back. Nice to have you once again. You all look so nice. Those who we can see, and we imagine that behind the camera or the video, you're looking good. You're looking good. We're going to bring on our guests at this time. They are Julia and DELANO. They are proud owners of Your Neighbor Juice Bar. Good Neighbor Juice Bar. And we are very, very happy for the progress they've made over the years. Every week these days, I check up on them by just going there and getting something. And I have a friend, Pastor McDonald, who does a better checkup than I do. I do have a feeling that he might have shares in the company by now. So I think he might have a percentage of ownership in this company. And I'm going to ask him to introduce this lovely couple. And we're going to be listening to them for a little while as we get some live demonstrations, and they'll talk to us about whatever they want to talk to us about in regards to juicing. Pastor Mac, take it away from me, please.
Oh, Pastor Wright, I must begin by saying that I had a major problem. I was sick in 4 or 5 different ways. One of the reasons I never liked vegetables. I hated vegetables. Never liked vegetables. So when Brother DELANO, DOWDIE came and made a presentation around 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was excited that he told me that I could get the vegetables and he could juice them and give it to me. And so I started traveling down to New Jersey and got the juices from him. And I've been taking them, and my doctor has been so pleased to see what has been happening to me. I have lost 10 pounds, hoping that I can lose a lot more. And that was 2 weeks ago. So I need to weigh myself again. So, but it's a great pleasure to meet Julie and her husband, DELANO. And it's a great pleasure in introducing them. Come forward now and teach us how to juice and how best to have a fast, a 10-day, 7-day fast, so that we can live a better life and live healthier.
Thank you so much. I can't. I'm just as excited as you are, Pastor McDonald, on the progress that you are making. It really fills my heart because one of the most important things for me is that what we're doing has a positive impact on people. So when I hear customers like yourself come in and say, I'm seeing, I'm feeling, and my doctor is pleased with my results, that really, really warms my heart. And it's really a full circle feeling that, all our effort, all the blood, sweat, and tears that go into what we do on a regular basis is really worth it. And, so it just really, really fills my heart. I'm probably more excited than you are at your progress.
Yes.
And I also want to commend you because you were doing one of the second most important things. The first most important thing is to take a step forward and do something about it. A lot of people are convicted and they sleep on it and they procrastinate and they forget and they do nothing, right? So, that almost convinced, right? But you were convinced that there was a need and that a change was necessary, and you made that change and you stuck with it. I'm also very impressed you told me very early on that, you know, once I start something, you know, I'm in it for the long haul, and I could see that you are definitely dedicated and devoted to this, and you are yielding the results as a result of that. So, you know, kudos to you for that, and your body will reward you, as you can see. There's a lot more that's coming down the pipe for you. So
thank you.
Also want to thank brother Wright for inviting us back. You know, we've been seeing a lot more of each other lately in the store. Grateful for your visit, and just grateful for this platform to really encourage people that, you know, this health thing is not complex at all. It's pretty simple, and you know, our mission at the Juice Bar is a world where people just turn to nature for healing. When something is wrong, they start to think right away naturally, what can I do to change it? And we're not at all preaching against modern science or anything like that, not at all. This world is a sinful world, unfortunately, and there are complex situations that will require you know, modern science, and require specialists, and will require a lot of interventions. But we don't, I truly believe, nobody has to go through that. Absolutely none of us have to go through it if we do what is right for our bodies, and if we teach our children, if we teach, if we pass that information on to other folks around us. God has made it very simple for us to live a healthy life. But we just have to do our part, right?
Yes.
So as I thought about what to share today, you know, I said to myself, you know, I thought to myself, what inspired me to make the change that I made? I think I'm coming up on my 10-year anniversary of my lifestyle change. And that was a deep conviction that I really am what I eat. And so, you know, what you put into your body, if you really think about it, what you put into your body is really what you will become over time. And so it causes you to start to look closely at what you're eating and start to study yourself, how you feel after you eat certain things, in the short term and the long term. And just kind of, you know, become more aware of the relationship between what we eat and how we feel. And so the best way I thought to bring that across is to really point out that one, it is God's ordained will for us to live and not die, right? And so he has provided us with every single thing that we need to live a full life all around us. And it's not scarce, you know, unless you live in like these you know, areas where that literally people are dependent on what is sold in supermarkets, and what is sold in supermarkets is garbage. That's a whole different story. I mean, in terms of our ability to gain access to good foods, it's very accessible to us if we become educated and if we just put ourselves in a position to get the foods, right? So I looked at, let me just bring us back to Genesis a little bit, right? We know that everything you see around us was created in 5.5 days, right? And then we were created. And so we know that the earth was created for us, and we know that we were created from the earth. And we know that God told us that everything he's given us, we're stewards of it, we need to take care of it. And so we know that so it should come as no surprise that when you look at the human body and you look at the earth, there are several things that we have in common. The first is that we actually share, on an atomic level, we share the same elements. We have actually 97 elements that we share that are in common, right? So we're actually we are actually made up of there. That scientifically backs up or provides an explanation for what God did there when He said when the Bible says that we're formed from the soil and then He blew the breath of life into us. So we see that we're made from there. So in my mind, I like to think of it: the earth was made for us. We were made from the earth, and we were made for the earth. So we're kind of made for each other. So there's that symbiotic relationship that exists between our environment and us. So how I like to think of it is, there's health, there are habits that we need to pay attention to, and there's our habitat, right? So health, habit, and habitat. The next thing that we share in common with our habitat, the world around us, is the fact that we both have systems that operate in very similar ways to sustain our life, right? So you have systems in the air, you have systems in the water, you have systems on the land, and you have life forms. And all of these have systems that cause them to interact and produce life and sustain life. In the same way, within our body, we have several systems: the nervous system, the immune system, the digestive system, the cardiovascular system, the muscular system, the excretory system, reproductive system, endocrine system, respiratory system, and so forth. All these different systems work within themselves to perform a function, and then work across each other to sustain and to maintain and produce life. So we have those things in common. And then finally, in terms of our makeup, one of the most interesting ones that similarities that I see with us as human beings and Earth, or habitat, is the fact that we're both made up of majority water. And this is critical. This is one of the most important things that we have to remember, because it's one of the simplest ways to encourage good health. Recognizing that we are made up of majority water, and when we say we're made up of majority water, if you look at some of the critical organs, right, 70% of our heart is water. 80% of our brain is water, and 80% of our lungs is made up of water. And that is important. So if you look around at our environment, you see the interaction between rain and the plants, right? I love gardening, and I tell you, I have my sprinkler system turned on in the summer, especially when it's about to start get really, really hot. So you have to increase the time and the frequency for the water, because I like to have a lush lawn. And it also waters my flowers, etc. And sometimes I have a little garden. I really haven't had much time in the past few years since we opened the store to really have a sense of a garden. But you water and you water every single day, and it does good, right? You see some results. And then whenever it rains, I almost feel hurt, because the way the plants react to the rain as opposed to my watering, it's like night and day.
Yes.
I almost, I come out and I'm almost happy to see, but I'm almost like, look at these ungrateful plants, as if I've not been watering them this entire time. So you see the interaction between water and life around us, and it's the same if you come to appreciate that in yourself. You'll see why we're encouraged to drink water every day, all day long, right? And we could get into that a little bit later on. But for me, I say those things just to show us that God has created us in a certain way, and He has created us to have a relationship with our environment. And if we look at ourselves on every single level, on a cellular level and on a physical level, right? And on a systematic level, how we interact, how our body works, and we look around us, there are similarities. And that's because we were made for each other. And I make that point to transition a little bit now into, now you can see why whenever we feel a certain way, it has a lot to do with what we are putting into our bodies, what from the environment we're putting into our bodies, and how we're interacting with our environment, right? We could start with water, since we talked about water just now. We are made up of between 60% and 75%, depending if you're a male or female, and your size, etc. And every single thing you do from the minute you open your eyes in the morning, throughout the day, causes you to lose water, right? In a small or large way, depending on what you're doing. Even if you're not running around, just sitting down, you are becoming dehydrated, right? Your body's burning fuel, it's performing functions, and those functions use up a lot of water and cause you to lose water. And when you start to lose water, you start to go to a certain extent. If you don't continue to be, if you go beyond a certain level of hydration, you cease to function optimally. And one of those telltale signs is you get a pressure headache, right? And I know when I'm not drinking enough water, I can feel my skin, my lips are the first thing. Like, no, I have not I haven't had as much water as I should have had so far today. And if you start to tune into those things, you could tell when you need to change that. You need to start drinking water. But without that knowledge, you won't even know what's wrong. For instance, a lot of people get a headache, and the first thing they think about is, I need to go take a pill, right? Without knowing that they have no need to take a pill.
Drink water.
Yeah, just drink. Two things happen when two primary common causes of headaches are, dehydration and lack of sleep. And you could quickly self-diagnose that, right? You know if you've had enough sleep, right? And you know if you've had enough water. And if you've had both or all of those things, then you can move on to the next thing, right? And start to eliminate certain things, and then take the necessary action. The reason you get dehydrated and dehydration causes headaches is because, as we said, 80% of the brain is made up of water. And what happens is the brain literally starts to shrink, and causes pressure on your circulatory system, and that's what causes a headache. So simply drinking water. And the thing is, when you've started to experience these symptoms, it's already kind of too late, right? You're already dehydrated. Now you have to catch up. You have to rehydrate and then stay hydrated. And as with any natural thing, those things take time. They don't just happen like that. That's one of the things you learn to appreciate when you start to pay attention to your body. So, and that's there are positives to it, and there are negatives to it. The positive is that when we do things, when we fall off the wagon, and when we do things that aren't within what we know we should be doing for our bodies, we don't often get immediate long-term negative effects. It takes a while. That's the positive. It's because it happens slowly, right? So that's why sometimes if eating unhealthy is is what's the word now? Is not the norm, right? Put it that way. It's okay, right? It's okay. Sometimes we fall off and we have to get back on and just figure out why we fell off, what we're missing, etc. The other thing is when you lose my train of thought.
You're talking about the norm.
What dehydration causes? You get brain fog.
Yes. No, you're talking about the norm, something that's not the norm if you don't, if
Right.
drinking is
Yeah,
not,
so
you can
that's the
fall
positive.
off and get back
Thank you
on.
so much. See, I'm testing there, testing. So you're paying attention. Good. Yeah, it's not the norm. So if you fall off the wagon, the positive is that it's slow. It takes a while before you get to like real serious stuff, right? All things being normal. The negative is when you decide to try to reverse, it also takes some time. No, but that is, I would say, from my experience, what I've seen, especially with myself and with my clients, it's direct. There's a direct relationship with your commitment and how that commitment translates into action. Action in several aspects of your life. Your dietary practices and your lifestyle, right? And Pastor Mike will tell you one of the things we talked about is, how are you sleeping? And what time of day are you drinking these juices and how you prepare for bed. And we always talk about making sure that in between the juices and in between the meals, there's a lot of water being taken. Very simple stuff, not complex at all. You'd be surprised at how much progress you're able to make with those very simple principles. It's really about consistency and really knowing yourself. There are some general principles that will work for everybody. But at the end of the day, it's really up to you to pay close attention to your body. Pastor Mark talked about certain allergies that he had that were uncommon allergies, and so we had to tailor some of the juices to ensure that he didn't end up in the emergency room. And it's important to know your body in that way before you take on any kind of lifestyle change, especially where diet is concerned, because it could really cause some issues and some problems. And so for me, before you even start to talk about changing your lifestyle, you have to really appreciate why that's important. And for me, that connection between our environment and us is what drove it home to me, that there is that connection. Now, if you think about plants, right? I'm not going to try to sell anybody on becoming a full-fledged vegetarian or vegan for that matter. I'll let you do your research where that's concerned. I believe that a plant-based diet is the best for you. I believe there's a lot of wisdom in that teaching, and the research shows it. But let's focus on what plants do for you, and then you could figure out just how much of it you want and how much of the other stuff you want to cut out. Now, if you look at the human body and you look at, for instance, those systems that we talked about, right? And you look at, one of the leading cause of death in America today is heart disease, right? And the cardiovascular system and the circulatory system work together to ensure that the right nutrients are being brought to every cell in your body so that they could perform their functions optimally and keep your body in balance and keep you healthy. One of the ways to stay healthy is to ensure that, you know, you have a lot of people who these days are into this alkaline diet. And there's a lot of wisdom in that. But, you know, there's also a lot of stuff going around with it. But what I would say is one of the things that I fully agree with is the fact that disease, you have to encourage an environment in your body that is conducive to disease for disease to come into your body, right? And that is an acidic environment. If you take in foods that are more acidic than others, and you take them in large quantities over long periods of time, then it throws your body's balance into more of an acidic range and acidic pH range. And then that creates an environment where disease thrives. And the opposite is true. If you take in foods that are less acidic, you know, then you will create an environment where health and vitality is encouraged. Very, very, very simple. And it would come as no surprise that if you look at foods that are more alkaline and foods that are more acidic, you'll see that the meats, the cheeses, the dairy, all that stuff is high on the acidic range, and foods that are plant-based foods are more alkaline than others. And so simply by selecting one versus the other, you are choosing what type of environment you're encouraging your body to have, right?
Yeah.
So that's one advantage of going the plant-based direction. I heard somebody, and I forgot to say, if you have questions as we go through, I'd love for this to be interactive. So feel free to jump in. Did somebody have a question? No?
Let me just ask this very quickly. Okay, go ahead.
You cannot mix acidic and alkaline foods because it's not beneficial for your health.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, you have to kind of qualify and explain that to people because it's a range. It's a range, right? So some foods are more alkaline. So you don't have, unless it's a poison, right, where it's 100% acidic. You don't. So and the reason I'm saying that is because if a person goes out and they start to look on acidic, they'll get a value, right? It'll show how acidic it is or how alkaline it is. So folks may, you know, you have to kind of explain that part to folks. That's why I try to explain the range so that people could really go and look at what the value is for particular foods, because you will end up mixing foods at some point in time that are more alkaline than others, and foods that are, you know, that cross over into the acidic range. And it's very difficult. What I find is when encouraging people to change lifestyle, you don't want to give folks too many extreme restrictions, because what will happen is they'll get burnout, they'll get discouraged. Now, if a person is encouraged to be educated and to figure out that middle ground, they'll start to feel the benefits, and you don't need to beat them over the head with anything apart from that, because the results speak for themselves. And so they'll start to see. That's why I like to encourage people, explore that relationship between what you eat and how you feel. Like really dive into it, really study yourself over time, because there's nobody that is going to be able to really tell you how you react to foods better than you can, right? Unless they're walking around behind you every day with a camera and studying you for years and years and years. You are the best judge of who you are and how foods affect you. So it's really good for folks to, I encourage people to just really dive in, study yourself and study what happens to your body when you eat certain foods. And as you go on this journey, become educated on what it means for something to be alkaline. What does it mean for it to be acidic, etc. So thank you very much for that point. Just wanted to qualify it a little bit so that we, was there another question? No. Okay. All right. If you go to like a macronutrient level, right? So we talk about acidic versus alkaline, and you find that plant-based foods are definitely more alkaline. And so that by eating primarily those foods, you are, by nature of doing that, encouraging an environment within your body that is more conducive to health and vitality. The other thing is, what I've noticed, if you look at plants, I said I love gardening, and if you look at plants and you're trying to look at, if you buy those Miracle Grow kind of fertilizers, or any fertilizer, whether it's for your lawn or whatever, your garden or whatever, whether it's something that's created in a lab or it's derived from natural means, animal byproducts or waste or etc., or from your compost bin or from a commercial compost bin, and they test it and tell you, they look for three things, right? They look for nitrogen levels, they look for phosphorus levels, and they look for potassium levels. And if you study plants, you'll see that there is similar, there are many similarities. So for instance, your potassium and your phosphorus deal with the structure of the plant and the root system, and the structure and vitality of the root system. And so those two elements in any fertilizer will encourage a strong root system and a strong skeletal system, branches, etc. While the nitrogen is really what encourages the plant to grow upwards and reach for the sun, and it encourages that that relationship between the sun and the plant, photosynthesis. So you notice, if you want your lawn to get greener, you notice if you look at any fertilizer, you'll see a range of like 25 nitrogen, and then phosphorus and potassium are like 7 or 8 or 3 or 2, like really small amounts, while the nitrogen is through the roof. And that's why for anybody who's also experienced with applying it, it's very important not to apply too much to one spot, because what happens? It throws it over a certain range, and instead of going green, it burns out and it becomes yellow, and you end up burning a lot. And then you have to, figure out how to get the chemistry back in line. That green in the plant that comes from the nitrogen is when they push up, and it encourages a lot of photosynthesis, and it becomes dark green. That means a lot of interaction with the sun, a lot of chlorophyll. Now, you'll notice that chlorophyll is like the plant blood. That's what circulates all the nutrients in the plant. And usually when a plant is deep green, it means it has it's healthy. It's a sign that everything is in balance within that plant. In the same way, when we have issues in our body, where with our cardiovascular system, that circulation, it's signaling that nutrients are not, what will happen is we'll get side effects like, folks who have heart disease, they lack energy, lethargy, right? Folks who have low iron in their blood, it's, anemic, get tired easily, that kind of stuff. Similarly, with just like with Roy, you have the chlorophyll in the plant, that encourages that lifeblood in the plant. What happens when you look at chlorophyll, when you look at leafy green plants, guess what? They have the same nutrients that are good for your cardiovascular system. So, for instance, if you have, if you're anemic, dark leafy green vegetables have all the iron that you need. But there is chemistry behind how these things get absorbed into your body. So just the way we say for a plant to survive, it needs those three things. It needs good root system that comes from the phosphorus and the potassium, and it needs a good skeletal system to hold the plant up so that it could push up. And it needs that nitrogen to encourage that habit in the plant to want to reach up and to grow taller towards the sun. Those three things working together provide the plant with what it needs to grow and be strong. Same thing for us. When you eat your leafy green vegetables, it is very important that you try to do it with some form of vitamin C. What we like to do is, for instance, we have like a kale salad that we serve and we encourage people to have, and we have all these different things on it. But the most important thing is we rub lime on it.
Lemon, yeah.
Yeah, lime or lemon on it. You know, but I hesitate to say lemon because the alkaline folks will strangle me for that one. So lime, key lime. You could put key lime on it, or if you have lemon, you can put lemon on it, fun and jokes aside. But the idea is that you have to have that interaction between vitamin C, because vitamin C is critical for your body to absorb certain metals. Metals are not easily absorbed into your body. It doesn't naturally happen. You have to encourage it by eating the right foods together. And so it's not just important for you to just go out and say, oh, I want to get this. You have to be purposeful, right? And you have to know how to combine those things in order to get the best and the most for your body out of it. I'm going to pause here to get questions, comments, feedback before going any further.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, does orange increase your acidity?
When you say orange, you have a lot of different types of orange, and it depends on how you drink it.
Just say one orange a day.
Mm-hmm.
Does it?
No, but the thing is, we have to take things in its entirety. The orange may be on the range more acidic than, say, a banana or, say, spinach. But the orange also comes with a ton of other nutrients that are very beneficial for you. For instance, orange has a lot of vitamin C. Orange has a lot of polyphenols. Oranges also encourage, that's the word I'm looking for. Oranges also encourage your metabolism to move faster. It boosts your metabolism, like most fruits do. And that is very important, right? So that's why I'm not really a fan of the whole, I'm 100% alkaline movement or any of those kind of movements, because they remove from your diet certain things that have functions that are also critical. So you want to do your research, and there is a range. I don't want to get into the numbers because I don't want this to become too, but pay attention to the ranges, and stay away from, I can tell you, on the extreme end is meat, on the extreme end is cheese, and the extreme end is dairy, right? So that's going to be on a full acidic rate, more acidic end of the spectrum, I should say. All these things exist on a spectrum. Fruits and vegetables exist on a spectrum. And while oranges are more acidic than, say, spinach, just to summarize, they are still good for you because they have other health benefits as well.
But of course, you have to know how to take the orange. The orange and not the orange juice that will overwhelm and quickly absorb a lot of sugar into your body. You know, so
right. Very good point. Which orange juice? That's the other thing. Are we talking about orange juice that you squeeze yourself, or are we talking about orange juice that you buy, say, in the supermarket? Even the freshest of orange juice from the supermarket, if they use a lot of different things to preserve it so that it has a shelf life. Because one of the most difficult things to contend with is the fact that stuff has to stay on the shelf. And if you don't have value, if you don't have people coming in constantly, you end up losing money through wastage, etc. So one of the things the food industry has come up with are these fancy ways of preserving. And that one of them is through pasteurization. Pasteurization, heats the food up to a certain point where pathogens can't live, and especially like E. coli and those common pathogens, food pathogens, those are killed at a certain temperature. But guess what? You're also killing a lot of the good bacteria in the food. That's important to that body chemistry. When you eat foods, they are supposed to interact with your body from the minute you put it into your mouth all the way through your esophagus, all the way into your stomach, and all the way through to your gut and coming out. There should be an interaction. There is an interaction at every point, and that interaction has a benefit. Remember, body is made up of all these systems, and all these systems have a role, and there are certain things that are done along the way, and they're done for a purpose. What happens when you do pasteurization or the different types of pasteurization? You kill the live enzymes, and those live enzymes are a key part of the digestion process and are very critical to your body interacting with the nutrients and absorbing the nutrients in the right way. So you get orange juice that has been pasteurized, or most importantly, the most common thing with orange juice is if they add a lot of sugar to it, because sugar is a natural preservative. So they load it up with sugar, and it's not even like good quality sugar. Yeah, it's very refined sugar. That's cheap to make, very sweet, and is very good and very effective at preserving stuff. What we do is we ensure that, one, we have a short shelf life for our items, right? Well, I shouldn't say we have a short shelf life. I say we try to make enough so that it keeps moving out, and we make small batches so that whenever a person comes in, they're always getting something that will last them a few days and not weeks and weeks. Because the minute you pick up a juice and it has an expiration that weeks or months away, it means it's been pasteurized. Now, there are some modern ways of preserving that I'm currently exploring for a wholesale channel that remove some of the nutrients, not all, and they claim to still have live enzymes. I'm still doing my research, I don't know, but it's very expensive. One of those machines would fill a room and cost upwards of a few $1 million. So only a few big food companies are offering that service right now. And because it's so expensive, it's cost prohibitive for like small businesses like myself. You have to partner with them. You bring your stuff there frozen, they'll work on it, give it back to you, bottle it and so forth. That's, what people are doing right now to try to preserve. So long story short, pay attention to the stuff you see in the store, because it's not what a juice bar like myself or any other small juice place that you have has is very different from what's inside the supermarket. And that's what makes up for the price difference, because there's a huge price difference. Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question. What percentage of juice should you use versus regular plant-based food if you want to lose weight on this diet? I'm interested.
Okay. What we do is we go for 70 to 30. So 70% vegetables, and we use fruit just to balance it. Because the idea is that you're trying to increase your intake of vegetables, right? And you're trying to increase your intake of a variety of vegetables. So one of the things I encourage is get those nutrients in their different forms, because God knew exactly what he was doing. Variety is the spice of life. So I have a lot of people who say, oh, I just want green juice, I just want green juice. Yep, green juice is great. Green juice, I would not dissuade you from doing that. But you know what? There are very few of my customers who stay on just green juice and stay customers. Right? it becomes you get tired of it. You know, as convicted as you are, you slowly start weeding off until slowly, like, you know what, I've had enough, and that's it. You have to have some variety to tease the taste buds, to cater to different aspects of your body, and the different nutrient makeup of those vegetables is also important. I don't think half is known about what some of these things can do. I give you an example. Beets, for instance, are scientifically proven, right? They've seen the association between beets in your diet and the lowering of blood sugar. But when they go to the cellular level, they can't figure out why. They have no idea why.
The nitric oxide also.
Yeah, they figure out some parts of it, but they're like, really and truly, I see that in other vegetables as well. But for some reason, the presence of this in beets is doing more than in something else, right? You know, something God reserves for us to have a conversation with him over dinner in heaven. I think that's one of them. But it's just, so for me, it's, you know, I've always encouraged customers diversity in consuming the juices.
Some of your green vegetables taste real good. The green vegetables, they taste real good.
But what I'm saying is, are you just living on juices, or do you replace 1 or 2 meals with the juices? That's
okay. All right.
I occasionally replace it with a salad and sometimes a sandwich with you know, that sandwich you make. What do you call it again?
We make
the tuna.
We call it vegan tuna. It's really a chickpeas based sandwich.
Nice. I like it.
I just love that sandwich. Yes.
Yeah, it's a favorite. It's a favorite.
And sometimes the Impossible Burger. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because, you know, when you're drinking things, you don't really get that mouthfeel of food. And I like that. So I'm kind of like, I couldn't just live on juicings.
Yeah.
And your wife made that cauliflower thing, and thing. I like that thing that you serve with the
okay. So we air fry vegetables. Cause we serve a plant-based burger. And we, instead of serving it with irregular French fries, potatoes, we do broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, and we air fry. And you get carrots, and you get that roasted,
delicious, yes,
and that crunchiness, and it is hearty and healthy. And air frying, and no oil, you know, it has all that saturated fat and stuff.
The beans.
Sister Mason could have that. She likes some feel in her mouth.
Yes.
Sorry, you want to feel something?
Yes, I do.
And then, that soup that you have with the bean soup with the jackfruit in it. Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So we make a vegan chili.
Yes.
And instead of using soy or other plant-based meats, we use jackfruit because it has that texture like beef.
Yes.
And it absorbs all of the seasoning and everything, all the flavor that is in the chili. So you really feel like you're eating kind of like a beef stew or a beef soup or something like that. But it's delicious. Yeah, I particularly love it.
Yeah.
There was something in chat. You want to read that? Patrice Gale wrote the fiber in oranges. Maybe you could read that.
Let me see. Yes, exactly. And that's a great point. And
you could read it because I don't think they heard it. Read it.
Sorry. Yeah,
I didn't hear it.
So Patricia says the fiber in oranges can keep blood sugar levels in check and reduce high cholesterol. Very important to prevent cardiovascular disease. Thank you so much, Patricia. That's a very good point. What point Patricia is bringing out there is that what we do, and I'm going to tie it to the question that was just asked. What we find, what we're trying to do through what we do at the store and through juicing is catch you up on your nutrient intake through plants. It takes 1.5 pounds of produce, cold pressed, to give you a 12-ounce bottle of juice. So if I were to show you the container that needs to go into the juicer to get 1 bottle of juice, man, your mouth will get tired just thinking about it. It's a lot. So basically, what the juice thing does is it loads you up, literally loads you up on probably 4, 5, 6, 7 times the amount of nutrients that you would get in one sitting, because your stomach has receptors. It has nutrient receptors and it has stretch receptors. And so literally you'd get full and tired. So your stretch receptors would override your nutrient receptors. You'd stop eating because you'd feel full. Your nutrient receptors would kick in later on and you'd still feel hungry because you would have a lot of fiber, a lot of food in your stomach, but you probably wouldn't get to where you need to be nutrient-wise, especially if you're just coming off of a highly processed diet, right? Where you eat a small thing of that McDonald's fries full of sodium, full of oil and full of all that stuff. The amount of calories that you intake in that small meal is so much that your body has gotten used to that level of calories. And so when you get on a healthy diet where you're taking in less calories, it takes a while before you kind of get used to that. And as I say, your stomach shrinks. It literally is your receptors shrink down to be satisfied with less calories.
Delano, my doctor was surprised about the amount of cholesterol that it came down so fast. What happened there? What did the plant do for me that the cholesterol dropped so fast?
I made sure one that your regimen had. I always try to mix up the greens that you get, right? So you had the leafy greens in there that provides the vitamins that you need to balance up blood sugar and encourage blood health, right?
Right,
blood
because
health and cardiovascular health.
I'm diabetic too, so yeah.
You're right. Deals with circulation, and that circulation is affected by, the rate at which your heart is pumping and your arteries. A lot of those leafy greens contribute to removing plaque that has built up over time, and which contains a lot. That's lowering of cholesterol. Cholesterol increases that plaque buildup
blood
in
flow.
your system.
Yes.
Right. And so the leafy greens do that. And I always make sure that you have a good mixture of the beet juice and also the red cabbage juice. That one does wonders for circulatory system and for your gut health as well. So between those three, we really targeted your cardiovascular health in that.
Thank you.
Could you repeat that again, please?
So I encouraged Pastor Mac in his regime to get a lot of leafy greens, right? A lot of green juices derived from leafy green vegetables, filled with vitamins and minerals. Those vitamins and minerals are always good for cardiovascular health because they not only help with balancing your blood sugar and blood content, making sure enough iron is in your blood, etc., and other minerals, but it also encourages the reduction in cholesterol and that buildup on your arterial walls that slow down blood flow and put your heart in a position where it's working overtime to do the work that it needs to do. Did that through the leafy greens, or beet juice, and also red cabbage juice.
How soon after you take your juice should you drink your water? Start drinking water.
I mean, I usually wait maybe 20 minutes or so, and then I start drinking again. Drinking water. But I'm always, for me, during the week it's easier for me because I'm sitting at my desk all day long, so I have my container of water, and I'm always drinking water until it sends me to the bathroom. And then I know I'm good. And then you have to look at the color of your pee to see, if you're actually fully hydrated or not. So if it's more on the yellow hue, you still need to drink some more water. If the minute you drink, you want to go to the bathroom, you're in a good place. So you could probably, scale back a little bit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi. I have a question. So I listened to Pastor Mark this morning, and he said for the short space of time he was using the juices, he see a lot of benefits, and but he said he have to drive all the way out to Jersey to get it. Is there a better way if somebody's interested in getting the product?
The challenge is what I outlined earlier with preservation and shelf life. What I do for Pastor Mike is, as soon as we do things fresh for him, so he has it for several days. We're trying to work around actually there is a way to start to get stuff to folks by shipping it. It requires flash freezing. So as soon as it comes out of the press, it's frozen, packaged, sent to you. So when you get it, it's frozen, and you pretty much let it defrost overnight in the refrigerator every time you want to drink it. That's something we're working on. We're not there yet, but until then, it's the good old fashioned across the counter way of getting it. Because for me, it's more important to get you your nutrients than for me to make more sales and make money.
All right.
Yeah, it's really important.
In a way, you could put your information in chat.
Sure.
Delano, I may have to deliver some for her.
Okay.
Sounds good, Pastor. Sounds good.
Yeah,
how much you charge for travel? Transportation.
For Sister Gwen is a special price. No,
Yeah,
I'll do it sometime. I'll take it over because I'm right here.
Okay.
All right. So what I'll do, if you put the information in chat, I'll get in contact with you and give you a feel of where I am and where I want to be, and then we could work on something.
Sure. We always start with a consultation, talking about what your goals are
Mm-hmm.
and what's important to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, 516.
I have a question. Hi. My question is, would you recommend that before the person do the lifestyle change, that they do a full cleanse before jumping into changing over to?
It's not a must. I think what's more important is to cleanse the mind, because you could cleanse the body, but if your mind is only half made up, you're gonna go back. So what I would say is, make sure that you're fully convinced. That is the most important thing, that you're fully convinced that you want to make a change, because it's not easy. If you think about it, you've been eating this way for whatever your age is, right? And the older you are, our food, our lifestyle where food is concerned is steeped in habits, and habits are notoriously hard to break. And so if you're not convinced, you will literally go through withdrawals and you will backslide very, very quickly. So what's more important than this cleansing and all these different things is being convicted that that a lifestyle change is necessary. As convicted as Pastor Mark was, because he told me, look, I need to do something and I'm committed. And as I said earlier, I was impressed. He is truly committed, which is why he got the results.
Wow.
You're muted. Muted, Elder Mac.
I think he's frozen.
No, Pastor Mac, I muted you.
Oh.
You need to unmute, because you were saying something and I didn't want to hear. So.
Oh, I was confessing that I fell off the wagon one day. Okay. And but I quickly jumped right back up, and I was so sorry. I felt the difference in my body. I felt the change right away.
Yep.
Right away. So this is a fantastic thing, and I really recommend it. And I pray that God will give me the strength to keep on keeping on.
Amen. Confession is good for the soul.
Pastor Mac,
second that. Confession is
Pastor
good
Mac,
for the soul.
if you fall from the first floor, it's not too bad.
Beverly's like a hawk. She watches me. Oh my goodness. She wants me to live a long, long time. She doesn't want to lose me. So,
Thank God for Sister Mac.
Thank God.
Yes.
And then,
DELANO,
look in chat.
Yes,
look
I'm
in
blessed.
chat, DELANO. Chat again.
Sorry, let me.
Patricia is at it.
Okay. You do not have to do a cleanse before changing your diet or lifestyle. Yep, very true, Patricia. You can, but it is not necessary. As DELANO mentioned, you have to clear your mind to make the decision to make the change.
Amen.
Yep, thanks for that. Yep.
I have another question. How much of a consultation? Is it an hour, 2 hours? What?
No. We just have a conversation. I get to know,
We talk on the phone. And,
yeah. And
okay.
Yeah,
I'm motivated. I'm motivated. I'm ready to go. I have headaches all the time, and I'm trying to drink water. I know I need something else.
And does that have anything to do with the members?
Church members? No.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No, not at all. Me.
I have a question about beets.
Yeah.
Beets are healthy to drink naturally, but whenever I juice and drink the raw beets, it just makes me nauseous. I just don't tolerate it.
Maybe it's too much. Maybe having too much.
Yeah, it's an individual thing. So maybe you have, you're having some kind of reaction to the beet. Maybe it's the way it's prepared. By itself, though, as I said, it's always good when you're talking about juices, especially vegetable juices, to get the right combinations in place. Beets are very strong, very, very potent, I should say.
Yes.
Yeah, so you have to know how much you. So I would say try mixing the beets with carrots and apples. That's a good starter combination. And then you find the right balance that's good for your taste buds and how it reacts with your body. But that's a good starter combination. Carrots mix very well with beets, and apples mix very well with beets as well.
What is celery good for?
Oh geez, that's everything. Celery is a cure-all. I try to fit celery into every one of our juices. To the point,
I taste it. So that's why I'm asking.
Julia is here. But I don't know why she doesn't. She's being shy and don't want to come on camera. No. But she's saying, Brother Mac, that she has a dandelion juice for you tomorrow.
Okay.
A dandelion celery mix. So no, I'm warning you. That's not one that's balanced with any fruit. That one. I think you're ready for the You're committed and ready, so we can graduate to that one. So I'll make sure I stick one of them in there.
Thank you.
Last week we didn't see the one with the black.
Patricia has her hand up, a question.
Oh, we didn't see the this week. You didn't give me the one with the charcoal in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll tell you why. And then I'll answer Patricia's question. So charcoal is great for everything in your digestive system, right? For any toxins that may be lingering there, that may be in there right now because of food that you brought in, or in there because of food that you ate before. But it doesn't cross what they call the blood barrier. So it doesn't get absorbed into your blood.
Bloodstream. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you have to have it in balance, because it's like they compare it to a security guard who doesn't discriminate. It wipes out everything. So it takes out toxins, and sometimes it takes out things. It just
Good stuff
adheres
too.
because it's carbon. So it adheres to everything. And so what happens is it could cause constipation if you take it in too much. So what I encourage people to do, it's good because of the environment that we're in, to do it like once a week, but not every day.
Okay.
So what I try to do is, like in your situation, we want to target certain things. So I put more of certain things, and what I plan to do is like every other week, include a charcoal drink for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Delicious. Yeah. I know, Patricia, you had your hand up.
Everything is delicious.
Hey, yes, Delano. I was just addressing the person who was talking about the beets. What you guys need to realize is that not everybody can take beets in a large quantity. And what you might need to do is to just have it in salads, just small amounts of it in salads.
Yep.
For the people who might be wondering why I'm chiming in so much, I'm sorry, but this is my field. I'm a nutritionist and also a food instructor. So
awesome.
I'm chiming in and adding what you're saying.
And I appreciate it. So don't stop. Keep going.
You're welcome.
Yeah, because what I want people to realize is, anybody could learn this stuff with the right amount of research and commitment to it. And nobody knows everything. I mean, Patricia clearly is an expert at it because that's her field. But it's important for us not to feel as if it's something that's outside the realm of our understanding, right? Clearly, as I said, specialists like Patricia are going to understand it on a different level. But I believe every one of us needs to understand it to some extent where we can help ourselves to a certain point. So thank you for chiming in, Patricia, and please continue as the questions come. I really appreciate it.
Okay, you're most welcome. No problem.
There's a question from Ajay in chat. What's your advice on how to prevent or decrease bloating?
Well, what I use is I have a juice that I know helps with bloating, and it's called, well, we name it the Gut Buster, and it's a mix of red cabbage. I believe we have carrots in there. We have celery in there. We balance it with some with red apples, and we have ginger and lemon in there for as a preservative. That does wonders for bloating. Actually, Patricia, jump in if you want. I like when Patricia jump. I like when we have the experts on the phone because they could get into the real detail. Any word on that one, Patricia?
See, one of the things that causes bloating, if you realize we all, you're eating healthy, and most of these fibrous foods are what causes you to bloat. So the idea is also you cannot be mixing these veggies and fruits and having them with your dairy. And a lot of things that a lot of people are not staying away from the dairy. And when you combine both of these together, you're going to realize that you're going to start having that bloated feeling in your stomach. So what I know from the person who is talking about bloating, are you dairy? Are you eating a lot of dairy foods?
Like yogurt?
Yes, that's dairy.
No, I don't eat a lot of dairy food.
You see, it depends also on the yogurt that you're having. The Greek yogurt is better.
Yeah.
I have a question on bloating as well. Oh, go ahead, Ajay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can hear me. I was saying that I don't eat a lot of dairy food.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, you're kind of breaking up. You kind of sound like you're in a shell somewhere.
She says she doesn't eat a lot of dairy. She just wrote it.
Okay, I don't eat a lot of dairy.
From this book, Fiber Fuel, the doctor says that you need to add the fiber slowly so your body gets adjusted to it. You can't just jump into a lot of fiber if you're not used to.
That's correct, Doris. That is correct. That is it. A lot of people just start doing too much at one time, and that's going to mess with your system. Again, what water are you drinking? One of the things we also need to realize is that your body, you're supposed to be drinking half of your body weight in water. A lot of people keep saying, oh, the doctor said I should drink 8 glasses of water, 8 cups of water.
That's minimum.
Weight is not the same. So the amount of water DELANO might be drinking, I might not be drinking that same amount because our body weight is not the same.
Yeah.
So
and
that's another important factor.
Yeah, that 8 glasses is likely the minimum to keep you on a level, but we should try to surpass that because we know U.S. dietary standards are usually not where they need to be. We've lowered them to try to pretend as if people are healthier.
I'm on a program here, them talk about that, but to tell you the truth, Trish, I'm not even doing nothing with it.
That's extraneous.
Yeah.
I have a question. Good evening.
Yes, go ahead.
This is Margarita. My question is this. Whenever I eat avocado, it just makes me nauseous. I want to puke my guts out. What do you think is in my gut that causes that?
I have the same allergy as well. And you want to hear something funny? It only happens with avocados that I eat here in the States. When I go back home, I don't have that issue. So I know it's not the avocado. It's probably whatever they put on the avocado for shipping.
To ship it?
Yeah, for transportation. Because avocado, when I go back to Jamaica and I get it the regular means straight from the tree or even in the market, in a local market, I don't have that issue. I have an uncle who has the same problem, and I actually told him to try when he goes back home, he was, well, you and I know that feeling. It's not an easy feeling, because it literally feels like your body's just rejecting your stomach.
Yes.
So he was hesitant to try it, but he recently tried it, and he's like, he was surprised he had the same result. He was good to go. So I know it's not avocados that I'm allergic to, and I suspect the same with you. It's probably something that's being done with the avocado to bring it from the farm to our plate that is causing the issue that we're allergic to.
Because when I use the seed to make tea or put on salad, I have no problem. It's just
Right.
the avocado itself.
And what I noticed, we have an avocado smoothie. I don't have any issue drinking that smoothie.
Me too.
Oh, interesting.
Me too.
When it's blended up with everything else.
Other thing, I don't have a problem. But
Don't
just
have a problem.
like
But if I try to do guacamole or if I try our avocado toast, problem.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're not alone.
I have a question, and it's related to the bloating. Is the bloating for the female? You know, some of us have monthly and we're bloated. Is that also related to diet?
A tough one.
Well, if it's related to your monthly cycle, then it's hormonal, right? And that's a whole different thing. I think you're actually saying what the cause is, and you could know the difference in your body at that point in time. Bloating is one of them. If it's related to your monthly cycle, that's a whole different thing. Clearly, I don't have a monthly cycle, so I wouldn't know. I would definitely defer to Patricia on that one. But if your regular bloating, which we all experience in different ways and forms, is usually linked to what we eat. And if you pay attention, people get more bloated from different things, and it's individual. But generally, bloating is caused by a lot of when your body isn't processing things the way it should, it's not absorbing things the way it should. And that's what causes bloating and extraflatulation and all these different things. That's when your body chemistry is off. As Patricia pointed out, a change, for instance, one of the things, the reason why the red cabbage is so good is because it's known to have a lot of polyphenols, which is great for gut health. So it helps to clean out and balance the chemistry within your gut. And that is what lowers that bloated feeling and helps your body to push out what it needs to push out and pass out, and get through that food digestion excretion cycle in a more smooth fashion without retaining a lot of impurities in your body and messing up your body chemistry, especially within your digestive system. So pay attention to what you're eating, I would say.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I have a question about the bloating thing as well. I got a little distracted just now. Somebody called me. But anyway, let me ask you first, like, can you replace lime with lemon? Because I find when I use lemon, I got a little bloating as well. So can I replace the lemon with lime?
Definitely. Actually, lime is less acidic than lemons.
Well, I would never believe it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wait, but I thought they said lemon neutralized the acid in our body.
That's it. Lime is less acidic than lemon. So
it's still acidic. It's still
one
acidic.
of them is acidic, and then when it gets into your body,
stop it from doing. It doesn't stop it from doing its job of alkalizing certain things through that chemical reaction. But lime is, known to be less acidic and better for you. But I use both. We actually have sea moss, and when to prepare the sea moss, we soak the sea moss in lime. I prefer to soak it in lime rather than lemons.
Thank
because
you.
of the, yeah.
One of them, Delano,
Mhm.
I don't remember which one it is, that lime or lemon, when it's acidic, but when it gets into the body, it's alkaline.
Yeah, lime.
Lime. Yeah, my
Lime.
wife is saying it's lime. Yeah.
Lime is double the price.
She's always focused on the numbers now. She's like, yeah, lime is double the price. Because it's more it's better for you, and the demand on lime is higher than lemons. So yeah.
And let me ask, do you, for the consultation, is there a fee? And based
No,
off of this program, if I try to dive in to do to get into it, is there like any discount? Like a church discount?
Well,
I didn't get it.
Delano, tell her that you discount the money. You discount it.
No, what I would say is definitely there is no charge for a consultation, because as I said, one of the most important things to us is the impact that we have on people's lives. So the consultation is free, because for me, if you walk away with a changed mind towards what you eat and how you eat, and you don't spend a dime with me, the impact is enough profit as far as I'm concerned, because the impact would have been there. It would be good if you would if you patronize us, but yeah, I'll talk to you, at no charge, and provide whatever advice I can. So no problem there.
Yeah, don't forget to put your information in chat. I'm very interested because but it's just that I don't know if I could drive to Jersey every week. But the amount of money that I spend and stuff for the diabetes and the weight,
Oh, please.
it's I think, and what Pastor Max said, that he's getting the benefit, I think would be nothing compare. And I will have a problem to support. We have to support our own, because the people who I'm supporting online, I don't know them.
And
appreciate it.
You're going to find, because of the lifestyle change, because some of the money that you used to spend on certain foods, you realize in the long run that it might be cheaper in just juicing and doing what I think I'm doing right now. I think it's a lot easier.
And I remember somebody said, I was reading somewhere, and they said, if you think, because one of the complaints people have is, especially if you try to go to just all organic, a plant-based life based on just organic products, it is more costly than going the conventional way. But it's an investment in your body, and you only have one body. And which you will reap dividends for many years to come. Particularly as you age, and some of the things that you're able to get away with when you were younger, simply because your body was more resilient. You won't get away with that when you're older. And so in a stage, it is more important, I would say, much more important for middle-age and older folks to pay attention to their health, because we're getting to a stage where our body is less forgiving, and it's going to cost us in the long run, right? And you're going to end up, because the healthcare system today does a very good job of keeping you alive in poor health.
Yeah. Say that again, sir. Say that again. Yes.
Yeah. The healthcare system today does a very good job of keeping you alive in poor health. So you just keep coming back. It's not designed to heal you. It's designed to treat symptoms and to medicate away the signs of poor health. And sometimes replace it with with other things that there's a trade-off, right? So for instance, a lot of the medications out there, it'll tell you it'll fix your this, but then they'll list off 20 things that may happen as a result of it.
True.
So you
Even
have to
death.
just know that
Even
it's an
death.
investment in your health. It's an investment in your body.
Brother Delano, this is Carmen. I just want to encourage folks who are considering supporting what you are doing. I'm a big advocate, and my husband was vegan for the last 4 years of his life. And I remember probably the 3rd or 4th month after he had made this life change, his regret was, he said to me, Carmen, I wish I had done this years ago. And his exclamation was, I feel 20 years younger only after 4 months of doing this, what you're talking about. So, I just want to tell folks, it really, really works, but it takes commitment. And yes, you will fall off, but you just get right back on it again.
Mm-hmm.
And the more consistent you are, the better you will feel, and the better you will look. And I can tell you, my husband actually had gotten to the point where he could hardly walk because he had so much inflammation in the joints. And with the change in diet, the inflammation in his joints went down. And they were actually talking about him possibly having to have, the knee surgeries to take out, replacement knees. And after losing the weight, no talk of replacement, nada. It was dramatic.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
One of the things I will say that I really believe led to his death was they took more than a year to figure out why he was in constant pain. And the pain was really around the nerve. So I'm throwing that out there because sometimes you have pain and the doctors aren't able, look at the nerves. Look at the nerves. And when, it's amazing when they went in to do his simple back surgery, the bone was actually growing around the nerve that transmits between, for him, allowed him to walk. They did a back surgery on Friday. He came home on Sabbath. And on Sunday, he was painless and no pain meds after that.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. But we also believe that because he'd gone vegan, that his body had been strengthened.
More receptive.
But they took too long. They took too long before they figured it out. And I think that's where the heart damage came in, was he was in constant pain.
Oh God.
So pain damages the heart. But following the diet that you're talking about really brings healing. So I just want to encourage you and say, you will be strengthened.
And so you're saying that we need to drink a lot of water and exercise as well.
Yes.
Movement is important.
Movement. I'm sorry.
And rest, and make sure you sleep well at night. So, yes.
And rest is critical. One of the things I would encourage folks to do is have a sleep routine, right? Have a bedtime routine. Set your alarm, set your phone at a certain time. You start to get into the frame of a mindset of going to bed. Make it a ritual of turning off electronic devices, moving to things that are, slower paced, and really slowly moving into that sleep phase of your day, because it is critical for good health. No matter what a person comes into me that is suffering from, I always ask about sleep. How are you sleeping? And what do you do before you go to bed? How do you prepare for bed? And then we try to pair it with it. Like your body's either in a state of 2 states, right? you're either in your daytime state, your awake state, or your nighttime state, which is your rest and regeneration and state, right? Where you repair, refresh, rejuvenate, replenish. And then during the day, your body is geared towards providing energy, providing awareness, brain power, quick thinking, those kind of things. And so if you provide your body with what it needs for the state that it's in and for the job that it has to do, it'll do that job that much better. One of the favors we could do to our body is by taking in, so put it this way, when you eat poorly, you put your body under stress because it's not made to deal with some of the things that we put into it. And so it has to alter itself in order to deal with it. And that throws your body out of alignment or out of balance. And so if you shift, one of the things that I noticed, first of all, when I shifted my lifestyle and I shifted my diet, I needed my rest had yielded more. I had a better quality rest and I felt more rejuvenated in the morning. And I felt that more, it was more pronounced when I did my first juice cleanse. Because on a juice cleanse, you are not eating any of the processed foods and all of that stuff that you eat on a regular, right? So you're shifting away from the processed foods and at the same time, you're replacing it with healthy foods, but you're replacing it with healthy foods, high nutrient foods in large amounts. And that extreme from one to the next is like night and day where your body's concerned. So by the time you get to, one thing is the juice comes through your system pretty quickly. Within 20 minutes, it's through your digestive system and in your bloodstream, 20 minutes. While your body is used to processing fiber and all that stuff, and it usually takes, maybe 2 to 3 hours, depending on what you're eating. Meats are more in the 3-4 hour end, while plant-based stuff is on the lower spectrum of how long it takes to fully digest something, to get it from chewing in your stomach and into your bloodstream. But that lowering of that time and the less work that the stomach has to do on other digestive organs, the body shifts. The body is very efficient. So it shifts away from providing energy to those organs to balancing. It goes to the brain. So the brain absorbs most of that now. And so with the resting of those organs, your body is put through less stress and duress during the day. You get to the night and you're resting so much better. Because now when you've gone to sleep and your body deploys all of the mechanisms that work on your immune system, that work on replenishing cells, that work on rejuvenating your body and getting you ready for another day, they have less to do. And so they're more efficient and they're focused more on strengthening rather than repairing. The repair work is done quickly and then they get more time to focus on, and you rest better. You just rest better. And so when you wake up in the morning, you wake up like, I know when I did my first juice cleanse after like 4 days of nothing but juice, I woke up, I could literally feel my skin like alive, like I could feel it tingling. My thought process was much clearer and I just felt rejuvenated every morning when I woke up. That to me is my favorite thing of going on a juice cleanse. That morning feeling, like a brand new baby. I think that's the closest I'll probably get to feeling like Adam. It's the morning. It's like after like a few days on a juice cleanse and that first feeling when you just wake up in the morning, you're like, you feel alive. A taste of that is what really caused me to say, boy, this thing is serious. It's not a light thing, that interaction between what you eat and how you feel. It's a very serious thing. So, just a tidbit there for folks who are, on the fence about, doing an all juice cleanse. Now, somebody asked a question earlier. You can do a full juice cleanse, or you can do meal replacement. I find that the meal replacement is more sustainable because it's a way of loading you up with nutrients, which still have a lot of value, while keeping you on a diet of solid foods, but clean solid foods. Away from, as much as possible, away from the sodium and the sugars and the fats, the saturated fats, trans fats, and all of those things. Away from those things, and more balanced plant-based foods.
Okay, all right. So I have so I noticed you said about the juice cleanse. So say I started with doing the juice. Is it continuous, or do I do the juicing for a period of time, then just like not every day, but incorporate it with like food?
It would depend on what you're trying to do, but it's most importantly, it depends on what your situation is right now, what your health situation is right now.
Okay.
Right? We would want to put you in any position where, because the thing is, when you are relatively healthy with no chronic illnesses or anything like that, you could do a juice cleanse without any preparation, just mental preparation, no physical preparation necessary, and really no guidelines. It's very easy. So when folks come in and they have no issues to talk about, we just jump right into it. Let's just go. If you're ready mentally, let's do it. And they get ready mentally, and then they do it, and they yield the benefits. And then what I would say is it's a springboard into a changed lifestyle, because you get a taste of what it feels like when your body is running in an optimal way.
Okay.
And I just want to say, in addition, that when you're a diabetic, for example, you will notice that this new lifestyle, it lowers your A1C, and in fact, I haven't been using my insulin pen at all, and I'm feeling so much better. I haven't been using it. I'm just saying, but you have to make sure that you check your sugar check your blood as often as possible, because if I go to my bed and I notice that it is low, I try to take something that will balance me up so that when I fall asleep, I won't wake up dead. You understand me?
Aaron Pastor Max saying this make me want to start like yesterday.
Yeah.
Hey, if you have Pastor Max commitment, you will. Yeah. Look, I have. I mean, we have several customers who come in with these testimonies of what the changed lifestyle does for them. But one thing they have in common is their commitment and consistency. This is not. You don't become sick overnight. So you're not going to become
well overnight.
Yeah. It takes commitment.
Can I just cut you off there? That's the impatience that I have. I thought I was going to lose weight, and I was going to see my belly flat right away, but it doesn't move. It's just when I went on the scale, it encouraged me because I had lost so much weight without realizing it. But don't be discouraged. If I can do it, anybody else can do it.
You lose
DELANO?
inches. Yeah.
Can I ask Pastor Mac a question?
Sure.
Pastor Mac.
Yes.
Did you write your will yet? And am I on it?
I tell you, if you know the amount of what I have, you're on it, my pastor. You're safe.
Okay. I'm just checking because you said you want to wake up dead.
You're going to make sure you have a long wait.
Let them wait. Let them wait.
I think you want to change your number, Delano, so he can't find you.
No, I think also when in doing something like this, we need to pray and ask God for help and strength to do this, because the temptation was real for me to give up and stop. Last week, it was real. And I thank God that I did not fall for that temptation.
Beverly.
She wouldn't allow me to. She would kill me.
Thank you. You want to drink some? You want? I don't know how much longer you want to go with. I just think that maybe you need to get a drink of water, take a quick break, play something, and then you can come back and do your final.
Yeah, sure, and then finish up. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's listen to. I don't know what. You want us to do? Just a little talk with Jesus, very short.
Lost in sin, but Jesus took me in. And then a little light from heaven filled my soul. It bathed my heart in love and wrote my name above. And just a little talk with Jesus makes me whole. Now let us have a little talk with Jesus. Let us tell him all about our troubles. He will hear our faintest cry. Answer by and by. Feel a little prayer will turn in. No little fires burning. Find a little talk with Jesus makes it right. I may have doubts and fears, my eyes be filled with tears, but Jesus is a friend who watches day and night. I go to him in prayer, he knows my every care. And just a little talk with Jesus makes it right. Have a little talk with Jesus. Tell him all about our troubles. He will hear our faintest cry. Answer by and by. Feel a little prayer will turn you in. No little fire is burning. Find a little talk with Jesus makes it right. Find a little talk with Jesus makes it right. Find a little talk with Jesus. Find a little talk with Jesus makes it just right. A little talk with him makes me alright. Find a little talk with Jesus makes it right. Find a little talk with Jesus makes it right. Well, find a little talk. Find a little talk with Jesus. With Jesus makes it right. Ooh.
Amen. Amen. That's great.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Have a little talk.
Very
with
nice.
Jesus makes it right. All right. You heard the bass man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think he juices. That bass man couldn't do it without juicing. So.
He went so deep. Yes.
Yes. I'm going to start juicing some more so I can sing deep bass. Have mercy. So we're back. We're back, and we're on the home stretch now. We're going to be wrapping up shortly.
Yep.
And
one of the questions I remember folks asked was about, particular juicers to get and so forth. And I would have to join on my computer to share. But I could probably try to type it in the chat. a couple of different juices.
I think you have sharing ability if you want.
Well, I have to join on my computer. Let me do it.
Let me see. All right. I just
So while that is coming up, the difference between the different juicers that you could get, because I don't want people to feel, as I said, as if you have to come to me to do it. There's a reason the idea came to me is because I know juicing is a lot of work, and most people at work don't have the time to do the juicing. So
You better
I don't want to make it seem as if this is the only place you could get juice. You could do it at home, but it's just you have to. It's a lot of investment in time, and effort to do it on the scale where you could actually do a cleanse, where you could make enough. Our first juice cleanse, we learned the hard way, because we had to prepare for we had to prepare the night before. We had to spend time cutting up a whole bunch of fruits and vegetables in the right quantity. And then we had to wake up like an hour earlier to juice. So we each could have 64 ounces of juice, three bottles each, right? A day. So I know it's a lot of effort, and that's where you just simply come to us and we will do it for you. But it is possible to do it. So definitely you could do. This thing is not coming. Hold on. I have to send it to myself to my email.
Okay, we'll wait.
But I could put, I'm gonna put it in the chat. I don't have to. Yeah, it's if you Google, I recommend Nama. Yeah, Nama. That's one. And then Breville is the other juicer that you would so if you Google those, actually I could Google it for you. I'll just use my phone. Breville juicer. There we go. This is all right. This is more. Now these juicers here are not cold pressed juicers. And what that means is that these juicers will you don't have a long shelf life when you make one of these juices on these juicers. They last at best a few hours, because the process that is involved causes the nutrients to start to break down immediately after they come out of the juicer. So you have to drink it right away and refrigerate it and drink it within 2 to 3 hours, or it will not be at its best, right? You'll get a substandard juice. That's the disadvantage to doing it here anyway. But the advantage is it may be cost effective in the short term, if you can't, if you really need to do something. But you won't be able to get that volume that you're looking for. But there's a juicer. These are the more cost effective ones. The link I just put on here is primarily for the Breville. It tends to be a good juicer for the price. And the first one that I put, Nama, you can Google that one. They are on the higher end. They have a juicer that I think that one starts around $3.99, and then the newest one is like $5 something. And those are pretty good juicers, and you may actually get shelf life on those on the Nama ones. They're more expensive, but you may get shelf life on those. but still,
is that a cold press? Is that a cold press or a warm press?
It's you know, they're calling it a cold press, but it's actually what we call a slow juicer. It's a slow masticating juicer that slowly grinds the food, and through gravity, the juice runs down. So, but with slow juicers, they don't introduce air, so there's not a lot of oxidation, which is primarily what causes juice to break down. But it does introduce heat in small amounts, and heat kills live enzymes. Live enzymes are very sensitive to heat. So again, the quality will not be the same as if you did say it from a commercial cold press like we have. But you know, you're 90% there with that one.
Nama.
Yeah, probably more like 85. I'm being generous, because as I said, live enzymes don't last that long. Once heat get in there, they're gone.
So why does yours last so long?
Because the juicer is a commercial press, and it's large, and it has the real estate to separate stuff. It grinds it while keeping the juice intact. So it just grinds it, but it does it in such a way that it doesn't introduce heat and it doesn't introduce air, because it doesn't spin it violently, which introduces air, and it doesn't the blades move in such a way that heat isn't introduced. So it comes down into the press chamber cold. So if you stick your hand inside the press chamber, the pulp is still very cold. And then the hydraulic press now, which is the other big component of it, slowly just presses the juice and is able to hold it by applying thousands of pounds of pressure to it. And then gravity just does what it does, and it just falls down into the receptacle. And it comes
Why
out.
is it you only give me for 5 days? Why? Beyond 5 days it will go?
Beyond 5 days, like it could, depending on the juice.
Yes.
It could go for 6 days. Like the red cabbage juice lasts longer, the lemon Lafayette lasts longer, turmeric infusion may last longer. But I prefer to say 5 days to be safe. Because I'm positive within that range. You haven't gotten any nutrient loss. But after that, it may start to, because the natural course of things is the minute you cut them off their vine, they start to break down. And that's how green fruits get ripe, because they continue. They start the breakdown process, and more sugar started. That's why riper fruits are sweeter, because they start to ferment a little bit.
Yeah.
And so if you catch it, what we've done over time is we know when to catch things. We call it ripe phase, right? We all know when something is ripe, and that's when we eat it. We capture it at its optimal point. And that's what we do regularly now. We have that knowledge, right? We know when something is ready and fit. That's its optimal stage. But if you let it sit long enough, it'll move into the next phase where it'll get rot and it'll die. So that's how the same thing happens with the juices, especially when you start to process it, right? Which is what happens when you grind it, and But a few things that we do to make sure that shelf life is preserved is that process, first of all, and the packaging. That glass bottle that we use is more it's expensive in comparison to plastic.
Okay.
Plastic is super cheap. A fraction of the cost of glass, but it does not hold the juice as long, because as soon as when you refrigerate glass, it keeps that coldness, and so the juice is always in contact with that glass that maintains the cold. So even if you open the refrigerator to get something, it has little impact on your juice in that glass bottle. That cannot be said for something in a plastic bottle. The minute you open your refrigerator and some other outside air touches it, that bottle immediately starts to lose its coldness, and it affects the juice in a little way. So over time, that continues to affect the juice as well. So that's also a very important thing in a process. And one of the things we're very committed to is, you know, our job as humans, to preserve our environment. You know, God gave us a job as caretakers of the earth and of our environment, and I don't think as a church we talk about that enough. I'm starting to see that more, and I'm encouraged by it. Yes, we know that you know, this world will end, and God will take us to heaven, and then we'll come back, and you know, this will be the earth made new, and that I accept. But we gladly accept that we should occupy until he come when it comes to buying a big house. But when we talk about the environment, we seem to forget that part, the occupy until he comes part. So one of the things we do is with our glass bottles is, as you know, you could bring it back. We'll give you credit for it, and then we wash, sanitize, and put that through the whole process that the health department requires of us to repackage and then carry that on. So we're pretty excited about that. You know, Julia is European, so, and they're very health conscious and very environmentally conscious. So that's a big thing for her. One of our goals is to be a zero waste company. So we've started to, even in our packaging, no matter what we're packaging, we're using compostable items as well.
Biodegradable.
Yep. And yeah, and it's, I tell you, it's expensive. And it cuts, it cuts into the profit margin, but you know what? It's worth it, because we have to leave a place for the next generation to live in. And at this rate, there actually is a shortage of plastic, so people are being encouraged. And New Jersey has a law, I think, that went into effect on May 1st. We were not allowed to give plastic packaging, plastic bags. So we have to use cloth bags, or people bring in bags, or and I think we still have paper, but I think there's like a period where we're allowed to have it and then we have to completely wean off of it. So with that, you know, thanks for just want to encourage you guys to hope the information was useful. It's awesome that you have somebody within your congregation, Sister Pat, Sister Patricia, who is a specialist, an expert. You should definitely leverage her more. I'm volunteering her on your behalf. And you know, just get in touch with that food body relationship. Find out what it is that makes you tick, and really start paying close attention to what you eat and the impact it has on you, and your health, and invest in your body, and it will reward you. You only get one, and you don't get a do-over. So you want to treat it right, and it will treat you right.
Just before you go, I have a member here that I don't want to aggravate or disturb or have her angry at me. She has a question in chat. Mitzi, what's your question?
My son, I can't remember your name, DELANO?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This is Mitzi. My son has ulcerative colitis. At least that's what they're thinking that he has. That's some autoimmune, some immune system, the colon.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be helpful for him?
If it's from what I know of it, it is a kind of a autoimmune
Thing, yes.
condition.
Yes.
And typically for autoimmune, I know resets done through juicing have been very useful to people trying to reset their body, and you know, reduce or get rid of autoimmune issues. That said, you know, we would have to kind of talk and because sometimes, you know, you have to hear it from several doctors, I would say, as to what's actually going on. Because usually good advice comes from a combination of the doctor's knowledge about what the symptoms you're having are in a particular condition, and your knowledge of the symptoms that you're having and your ability to describe properly. So one of the beautiful things about getting second and third opinions is you've given yourself ample opportunity to get better at describing to the doctor what is going on. And you've also heard the same question probably asked in different ways. And along the way, you may hear the right question being asked. And so it's important. So let me divert a little bit just to give you an example. So my day job is I work in technology strategy. And I hire a lot of consultants on behalf of the bank that I work for. We bring in specialists to do certain things. And 90% of the time, you know what your problem is, but half of the issue you don't really know until the expert comes in. But how do you choose the right expert if you don't really know? So what you do is you just go through iterations of talking to upwards of 7 to 10 different experts on the same issue. And over time, you get educated on people's responses, what to ask, and through their responses, you get educated on what to ask, right?
Of course.
And I think it's the same concept when it comes to us and our health, and especially something like ulcerative colitis. You want to have a second and a third and a fourth opinion, and you want to be just as informed as anybody on it. And once you have that in check now, and you know exactly what's going on, then we could talk and figure out the best approach to it, to solving it.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing right now.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. No problem. So, Pastor, right? You're on.
Pat, yeah, I know you're finishing right now, but wait, see, Pat, Pat, what do you want to say?
Yes, I was just helping out the person who was talking about her son with UC. You need to do, it's just a process of elimination. You need to look at what he eats and how his body reacts to it. And then you start cutting out or limiting certain foods that seem to aggravate the symptom. And then you'll see how he feels. Normally that's the best approach to use.
Yeah, because this just started happening maybe about 7 months now. And
because I'm not sure you realize there's no cure for it.
Yeah, that's what I read on that. And I see that here. And but he doesn't live with me, so I'm, is
okay.
In his 30s, so yeah, it's like it's a difficult thing.
But it's just a process of elimination, just trying different foods. And as I keep saying to most people, if you eat as natural as possible, helps with just about everything.
Yeah.
Eat more things that's coming from the ground, things that's not processed, and start doing a process of elimination with what works for him and what doesn't.
Okay, because he has done two colonoscopies.
Okay.
And he just did one last Monday, didn't get the results yet. So.
Okay.
All right.
It can be controlled.
Yeah, because they said he seemed to have some kind of infection up there. So. Yeah.
We Missy, let me know what's going on, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we're always here for you. You have a lot of members who are in touch with you. You have a great support system. So.
I know. Thank you.
And I know the pastors, we all appreciate you. Okay, and we're gonna come over to Connecticut for a thing in your backyard soon.
Yes, I appreciate you guys too.
I'm bringing DELANO and Julia with a little baby.
Okay. Be my, they have a baby. Be my best. Oh.
We're coming. We're coming.
No, I'm having a grandson soon too.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
In September. Thank you. Yeah.
All right.
Well, Dr. DELANO, we thank you so much. I'm hearing a noise in the background. Who's that?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
It must be it has to be your set again. Go ahead.
Is it making noise, Pastor?
Yeah, yes, it's possible. You're always a suspect. Go ahead.
Oh, Lord.
Go ahead. Do it quickly.
That's quick.
A quick question. I have a habit of eating late at night. I don't know why. And I'm diabetic, but when you eat early evening, what's the best thing you can munch on like 10 o'clock before you go rising the blood sugar?
Water.
I mean, my response is you don't need to munch on anything after a certain time. And you probably should not be munching on anything, especially considering the diabetes. When is your last meal?
Well,
1 in the morning.
3 o'clock, somewhere there.
What?
3 a.m.
No, my 8 p.m. somewhere.
Oh.
And you have like some kind of snack before you actually go to bed, or are we talking about snacking all the way from 3 to?
Necessarily, I like to eat fruit. I will eat a mango if I have any tangerine or a banana, small bananas. I know diabetic people. I check by the smallest bananas. I eat a little banana, green, and you know. But then in the night, I always have my cup of tea and some crackers.
Well, you know what? I don't. It depends on, do you sweeten the tea? What type of tea is it?
Oh, I drink my
and how can it
creamer? The Adventist coffee I drink. It's called Roma. I just use a little coffee creamer in it.
Coffee Roma.
Oh, that's a no. If it was like a green tea of some sort, but that Roma business, I would no, I don't think that's so. Okay, but here's what you do. The thing is, to change habits, one of the best thing to do is to kind of trick the habit. So it's right now it's a habit. It's not a need, it's a habit. So you are in the habit of reaching for that Roma, and I suspect you kind of look forward to it as part of your bedtime ritual. And if you just go cold turkey, you're gonna miss it and you're gonna backtrack. So what you wanna do is first of all, you wanna replace the Roma with a different hot beverage, and then and then slowly move. And definitely you wanna start putting that creamer in it. Okay, you don't want to have any dairy, especially so late at night going to bed. That does not sit well with your stomach.
Coffee creamers, those creamers are the worst. They're also dangerous.
Yeah, my wife, is a struggling coffee person. So she knows. She said those creamers are typically. She doesn't know of any good creamers. They're all just not good for you. So especially if you read the ingredients, it'll inform you a lot there. But what I would do is I would move away from the creamer first, then I would move away from the Roma altogether, and I would go towards maybe like a ginger tea or some kind of turmeric infusion type tea, or And the reason I'm recommending these teas is because they are conducive to good sleep. So you want to move towards those things, and then you could keep your nighttime habit of drinking a warm beverage before bed. But the crackers that you're eating with it as well, depends on how much you're eating and what it is. They're typically high in sodium. Either that or super sweet. So you could balance that by not sweetening the beverage and starting with less, and then slowly switching out to some kind of cracker that is low to no sodium or no sugar at all. And then you keep your habit of having a warm beverage with a snack, but it's less of an impact on your health. And then you could slowly graduate to not having it at all.
And you won't have any nightmares.
Yeah. So because it messes with your sleep.
Yeah. So Charmaine, instead of trying Roma, try romance. Okay. Enough of that aroma. Have mercy. Enjoy the aroma, but don't drink it. Okay. Have mercy. But all of that stuff is bad because the crackers, a lot of that is starch, sugar, converts to sugar. I don't know if it's maltase or maltose and galactose and glucose. So you got to be careful of those things. So you have to revamp the whole thing and stop eating after 7 o'clock at night and drink water and no more snacking, more sleeping, and you will be fine. In 2 weeks, you'll be a different person. Okay?
It's a habit you need to work on breaking. Yep, just work on breaking that
break
habit.
it.
Yeah, we love food.
Poor Charmaine, she must be mad with us now that we had this program this evening. Mess up her life.
Pastor, we up every Saturday night. I'm talking like tonight now when we're on the late night talk therapy. This is the crackers I have, the regular oat bran wheat crackers, right? This is what I'm
not good. They're still not good. No, even with wheat bran, don't let them fool you. It's still not the best.
Sister Charmaine, you're killing yourself slowly.
Yeah. Look at the ingredients. Look at the ingredients. That's how you'll see.
Yeah,
you don't need that, Sister Charmaine.
If there's any word you can't pronounce, go for it.
Typically those things have a paragraph of ingredients. A full paragraph.
Charmaine, drink some water, drink some tea if you have to get rid of the sugar.
Plain tea. I just want to drink tea, but the only thing I drink with a little is the 6 grams of sugar in the coffee creamer, and it's sweet.
All of those days are over.
Huh?
All of those days are over. I'm sorry you came on the program this evening and got disturbed with the reality that those days are over.
Good to learn.
All right.
Yeah, just
all right.
slowly.
We're done.
Slowly.
Mute your phone. Mute your phone, Charmaine, because it's making a little noise. If you're on the radio, we wouldn't take your question because they don't want the noise. But you can fix that later. Well, Doc, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. We are happy that you had your 2 assistants with you, your wife and your daughter. We're very happy. we still want one day before we die to see the beautiful wife because she's really charming.
She is.
Her picture. I want to see her face.
So shy.
Julia is my friend. Julia, let's see you before we go and say hi to the brethren. They love you. Pastor Mac. Pastor Mac is your friend also.
Oh, yeah. She makes the best sandwiches in the world. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at her.
Hi.
Oh.
Hi. Hello.
Look at that. Yeah. Say hi to them, Julia. Say hello. I know you're quite capable.
Hi guys. It was nice listening to you and all the interesting questions. Wow. It really made me think even more to answer all the questions.
And I know you're helping out. I heard you in the background,
I like to cook.
like the producer.
Yeah, I like to cook. Because DELANO he just works for me part-time. DELANO is just a part-timer.
I know. So you're going on vacation shortly, right?
Yes, we're gonna go
to see my father. We're gonna go for 3.5 weeks. We're going to Slovakia. That's where I'm from, right next to Ukraine. So we have to pray for the country over there.
Yeah, be careful. Be careful.
All three of you are going?
Yeah, all three.
So what's going to happen to me, Mr.
You'll be taken
DELANO?
care of.
We're gonna flash freeze your juices then. Flash freeze your juices and then you'll have them in the bottle, I think.
We'll work somewhere. I'm only going for
10 days.
For 10 days. I believe that will be over. I'll be missing 2 weekends. But I'll make sure that you're taken care of and then I'll come back. She's gonna be gone for a lot longer. She's going until sometime in July. But we're gonna make sure that you're taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry, Pastor John.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Very easy.
All right. So
we'll talk about it
everybody's
tomorrow.
happy, DELANO. They saw the queen, the charming delicacy of feminine pulchritude. We saw her. So we are happy now. I can die now, Pastor Mac. I can die now. I have seen the beautiful lady. Have mercy. Turn to your neighbor and say, yes. What's your daughter's name? What's your daughter's name again?
Samantha.
Let me see them one more time. Let me see them one more time.
Come say hello.
One more time. Let's see. Samantha?
She's fussy. I don't know why. Come. What's
her name?
Samantha.
Samantha. Hi, Samantha. Samantha, say hi.
You don't like to be focused on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but she's beautiful. Beautiful.
I don't know.
Yeah, a little attitude right now. All right, don't worry. Yeah, she's gonna be fine.
She actually graduated from pre-K on Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, I tell you what, I almost messed up because I didn't know that it makes such a big deal about this graduation. I had some meetings I almost didn't go because I thought it was, I'm like, she's going to the kindergarten, right? I'm glad I went because it was a big deal. But
She'll never forgive you.
I'm telling you,
you almost got a pink slip.
Yes. I'm telling you, I barely missed it.
Yeah,
barely
you almost got fired.
I've gotten. But thankfully I went and I was able to, take pictures and videos and stuff. It was good. It was fun.
So you will live to juice again then?
Yeah, exactly.
Brother Dowdie, the same time tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, man, we're ready for you.
All right, we're gonna close out now. Sister Mason.
Yes, sir.
Can you just pray for us as we close? I'd like to hear you pray.
Okay. I am so disappointed that you'll be leaving, DELANO. When are you leaving? I was planning to come and be a customer.
25th.
The 25th of June, but I'll be back
so you have
on
a
the
few
7th
weeks
of July.
You have this week.
But
and next week.
if I'm being taken care of, then you will be taken care of too.
Right. Yeah.
I just can't make it tomorrow. So.
Oh, okay.
This is not.
But I'm coming over tomorrow, so I can always bring it over.
But I haven't had my consultation.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. You're right.
Yes.
I need my issues addressed.
Mercy.
Well, see, my cell phone number is there, so feel free to take it down and give me a call, send me a message. And
if you call it in early enough, I'll pick it up on my way over.
Okay, great.
Right.
Thank you so much.
And then you can pray for your issues right now.
Yes, I've been praying about them actually. Okay, let's bow our heads. Lord, we do thank you for the evening that was well spent. We want to thank you for DELANO and his wife who have been busy in this ministry and providing a service to your people. We do appreciate it. And we are so thankful that Pastor McDonald is being helped and he's an inspiration to all of us. We just want to thank you for blessing him and continuing to be with him and his wife as they deal with the health issues that he has been experiencing. We thank you, Lord, for this platform where we can meet like this and discuss important matters pertaining to our health, spiritual health, as well as our physical health. Thank you for Pastor Wright, who is insightful and able to come up with these programs. We are so grateful. So we thank you that you'll be with us during this whole week and help us to be more focused on our health and what we are indeed putting in our bodies, because we are what we eat. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your mercies. Thank you for the wonderful, delicious vegetables and fruits that you provide for us. Help us to be more mindful of using them. We thank you for everything that you've done. Continue to watch over us, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Please remember that we have bowling tomorrow at 5 o'clock. The address is there, 360, Bowling 360 on Rockaway Boulevard. It's in chat, so you can see the address. We have Ajia's team against Andrea's team. And we know the team that will win already. It's already known. But it's nice that Ajia's team is going to try.
That you are on, huh? The team that you are on, right?
The team that I'm on is going to win. The other team will be there just to provide competition, but they're not going anywhere. So we look forward to that, 5 o'clock. And also, there is a 7 o'clock meeting. Those of you who can get back to your phones, you can get on to Grief Support Ministry, Dr. Kelly out of NCU. She'll be on. And then during the week, we have our youth vibes with Sister Mason on Monday at 6:30, 7 o'clock on Tuesday. We have the lawyer, Maitland, he'll be on. And Wednesday, we have our Wednesday night. We may be talking about the building that we're trying to get onto. DELANO knows about the building because I sent him pictures a few weeks ago. So he's on board, And on Thursday, we have our exercise class at 7 o'clock. Julia, come to our exercise class. As soon as you get home from work at 5:30, 5:40, or 6 o'clock, you take a quick half an hour and join us for exercise class. Although you look fit already, but we have exercise class. So you and Samantha can join us on Thursdays at 7 o'clock. And on Friday, you can definitely send the link. Yeah, the same link, but I'll send it. Okay. Yeah, but I'll send the flyer, okay? And when you're over near the Ukraine, what country is that?
Slovakia. So we're flying. We're flying into Hungary, to Budapest.
Yeah. But make sure that you eat before you go to Hungary.
You're so bad.
But I mean, I would advise do a shaman and snack before you get there. But anyway, and yeah, but you can come on from Slovakia on Thursdays and exercise with us, okay? All right. Although you're on Greenwich Mean Time. Is that GMT?
Yeah, they're 6 hours ahead.
Yeah, GMT. Okay.
That's good.
Plus an hour. Yeah. And that will be 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. All right. And then Friday we have our Vespers, and then Sabbath, everybody knows what we do. Sabbath morning, Sabbath afternoon, Bible class at 3:30, and 5 o'clock next week, we'll have Perspectives. And Pastor Mac, we have to come up with a program for next week. I don't know what we have for Perspectives.
As far as I heard, no, you don't.
See,
no, he's getting news that you didn't get. Nobody told me anything.
Pastor, no news is good news.
Okay.
No news is good news, Pastor.
But if I was smart enough to have planned a program for next week, what would I have to do?
We would have used it for the following week.
Good answer.
So DELANO, come on next week. You're your father, so come on next week and join us.
Join us, yes. That would
and sit and enjoy.
Okay, definitely.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you, everyone. You all can talk and get everybody. We're gonna stop streaming now. Now you can all talk to each other. These people don't leave.
Pastor Seeley was saying something.
Oh,
yeah.
Pastor.
Pastor, I was just saying to you, as the Haitians have a saying, Jose. It means just chill.
Okay. Someone else was saying something. Someone else.
Andrea. Who was speaking? Somebody was speaking.
I just want to ask a question. I've missed part of it. Just want to know, can you put back the number, please? So I can get a consultation.
Sure. Which number?
The number for
All right. We can stop streaming now if you want, please. We can stop. Let me know when you're done streaming.